I'm pleased and happy to repeat the news that we have, in fact, caught and killed a large predator that supposedly injured some bathers. But as you see, it's a beautiful day, the beaches are open, and the people are having a wonderful time. Amity, as you know, means friendship.
There's a shark out there and it's eating people, and Brody wants to close the beach. Mayor says only for 24 hours, but to Amity that's like 3 weeks. Then there's Quint, he's not there to be your friend. The offer's 3,000, but he'll do it for 10. The 4th is here and people go swimming. A fella gets eaten in the pond. So before he becomes mayor of Shark City, he hires Quint, he hires Quint to do the job. JAWGUST is back once again. Jaws is 50, so I thought, my friends, for you to come with me as I go back to Amity. A 31-day podcast, talking 4 minutes of Jaws each day. It will be another month-long show for me, and I hope to see you there, 'cause JAWGUST is back again.
Happy Friday, everybody. It's Friday, August 15th, which means it's the 15th day of August, which means it's the 15th day of Golden August, which also means that for the 15th day in a row, I am here talking about the next 4 minutes of Jaws. And you may be saying to yourself, didn't we just hear from Mike like a few hours ago? Technically, it's been more than a few hours. But yeah, I put up yesterday's episode extra late. Or not extra late, but, you know, within 10 and 11, so pretty late. And today, I'm coming to you extra early. It is 7:30 in the morning when I am recording this right now. And I've been up for close to 3 hours already, thereabouts. My dog woke me up a little before 5. And at that point, the first thing I do is I may have said this, I like look at her and then I go walk over to the couch and lie down. She jumps up on the couch next to me, lies next to me. And I'm like, oh, good dog, pretty dog, happy dog, let's relax. And that lasts for a good 15 minutes before she realizes, wait a second, wasn't I supposed to wake you up? And we went outside. here's the thing. She took care of her business very quickly. So I brought her in. I don't like to feed her super early because her clock gets totally thrown off, and then she's looking for dinner really early. But sometimes you just got to do what you just got to do. So a little after 5, I fed her. I went and lied down, and I relaxed for a little. Wait a minute. Or I watched a movie. I watched a movie for a different podcast. And then I thought, you know what, Mike, what are you waiting for? Let's jump on right now and talk some Jaws. Now, I did say that there is a chance I'm going to an actual beach today in the actual ocean. That is not, that's still in the plans. It's not 100% definite, but it is 85% definite. So if there is any inkling of me going to the beach, you'll probably hear it right now.
It is a beautiful JAWGUST day, and I am looking out at the water right now. Now, here's the thing though, I'm not looking out over the ocean. That was a lie. It didn't happen. However, I am looking out over some beautiful water right now, but it's the Merrimack River. There's not a chance of one goddamn shark being in that water. So my chances of, getting nibbled upon as a JAWGUST miracle isn't happening. Plans have changed. It's a little cool, so we just decided to hang out closer to home, go to the park, and hit a few shops. I do have my Jaws shirt on, though, so I am representing JAWGUST, per the regulations of every Friday during JAWGUST. And, enough of that. Why don't I let you get back to the regularly scheduled show, get back to JAWGUST.
Wow, that was awesome, or it wasn't. I'm not entirely sure yet. You either heard a few seconds of silence or you heard a guy having fun at the beach. And here's even a better part. You might have heard silence because I forgot to record something at the beach. We'll see. In JAWGUST, anything can happen. And speaking of the beach, today's 4 minutes of Jaws, minutes 60 to 64, take place entirely at Amity Beach, where there are more people that I've ever seen at any beach ever. I've grew up going to Salisbury Beach, which is where I was planning or may have gone to already today. And where I used to go for 2 weeks with my grandparents every year. They like my aunts and uncles, my mother's aunts and uncles, really, like that generation. They had beach cottages that they stayed in all summer, and they rented a few, and my grandparents would take them for a good while as well. And sometimes my cousins would go up for a couple of weeks. Sometimes my brother and I would go up for a couple of weeks, and it was always in JAWGUST, I should say. And I think it was just our parents probably wanted to get rid of us for 2 weeks, maybe, I don't know. But that's when you'd go and you'd have beach friends that you were like best friends for 2 weeks, and then you didn't see each other for the rest of the year. Even though one of them I ended up going to high school with, which was fun, and a bunch of them I still keep in touch with, through social media today. But it was like an area where it was like mostly cottages and private homes. It wasn't like a public, hey, let's go to the beach like I'm going to today, which is Salisbury Beach Reservation, which is a big parking lot. It's really more of a public open beach. Where I grew up going to, it wasn't quote unquote a private beach. It's just that most of there were areas where anyone could walk up anywhere. But where I remember it being crowded. and being, it wasn't just like, oh, these are the people who live in these cottages. I mean, there were people everywhere, but it never felt like this crowded. And when the people are in the water here, I've never experienced anything like that where it's just hundreds of people in deep, deep water. That's the one thing that always felt a little unrealistic to me, but that's only based on my experience. I don't know how the good folks of Amity have swam, or the good folks of Martha's Vineyard, or even the beaches north of Salisbury, where I go. There's Seabrook, New Hampshire, and Hampton Beach. Maybe they love to really go out there deep and test, their bravado, I guess would be the right word, because I don't want to be out there that deep. Now, in the beginning of the 4 minutes here in Jaws, in this segment, nobody's swimming. And for some reason, that's really bothering Mayor Vaughn. And I don't quite understand why. It's like, look, everyone's there. And you know what they could be doing? They could be swimming. And you know what swimming costs? Nothing. But if they're not swimming, they could be doing many other things that cost money, like frequenting your businesses, going to your restaurants. They could be, buying supplies. Like, you're out in the sun, you need suntan lotion. I don't even know if they had sunscreen. Nobody did sunscreen back then, did they? I don't see that many. There are umbrellas, but not as many as you'd see nowadays. And there'd be more money spent by the people not swimming than there are people swimming. But for some reason, Larry probably thinks if they're not swimming, they're not enjoying themselves. If they're not enjoying themselves, they're going to leave early. So he comes up to this old fella who and his wife. And Larry asks him, like, why aren't you swimming? Why aren't you in the water? And I've always loved the sound of this guy's voice with his answer.
Oh, hi, Larry.
Why aren't you in the water?
I just put some suntan lotion on, and I'm trying to absorb some of this
Nobody's
sun.
going in. Please, get in the water.
Mayor Vaughn, you are a bully. I just always love the way he's like, I'm trying to absorb, but he's putting on suntan lotion, not sunscreen, suntan lotion, because he wants that deep tan. But this guy is the whitest man possible without being like, pale. He is, in other words, this man is not going to get a tan. He is going to get a burn, which maybe will turn into a tan, but there's no way this guy is tanning. And I just love his look. I love his big bulbous nose. And the best part is when Larry tells him, can you go swimming, please? He's like, get in the water. And he is such a lemming, and believe me, he's not the only one, that he looks frightened, and he looks right at his wife, and they both look at each other, and they just both turn and give this blank stare to the ocean. And it is comedic. It's like, I'd laugh at this like, oh God, they're going to go in the ocean. They definitely don't want to. But in their faces, they're showing real fright. Now, neither of these actors are credited in the movie. In fact, so many people are not credited in Jaws. I wonder if they could get away with that today. But they are listed in IMDb. There's a whole uncredited section, which has a much longer list than the credited people in the movie. So this man is, his character's name in this movie is Mr. Posner. This man's name is Cyprian Duby. He was born in 1909 and he lived 90 years. He passed away in 1999. He has 3 film credits under his name. Can you guess what those 3 credits are? Yes, Chris, I promised I wouldn't talk about him, but I don't give a shit. He was Mr. Posner in Jaws in 1975. In 1978, he played Selectman number 2 in, guess what? Jaws 2. And then he took a time away from the big screen, probably because the third Jaws was in a whole different location. And if they're going to choose between this guy and Louis Gossett Jr., they're going to choose Louis Gossett Jr. But he did return in 1987 in Jaws the Revenge as mayor. This man became the mayor of Amity because I don't know if they ever explain. The last time I watched Jaws the Revenge was a couple of years ago for a JAWGUST special. So bad. I don't think they ever explained anything. I think he just was in a scene, like at the funeral maybe for Sean Brody. But I don't think they ever explained where Murray was or how this guy became the mayor. I think they just said he's mayor. Who's that guy? He's the mayor. But anyway, he is, he's in 3 movies, and they're all Jaws movies. Now, his wife, on the other hand, she actually is an actress who's been in a few things. Her name is Belle McDonald. She was born in 1926 and passed away in 2015. So she is 17 years younger than her husband in this movie. Oh, Mr. Posner, you cradle robber. So they share a glance at each other, and they get up right away, and without saying anything, they're thinking as, well, if we're going to endanger ourselves, let's endanger our grandchildren as well. Those better be their grandchildren, because if it's their children, look, I don't know, like, maybe these people are only in their 30s and this is the 70s. This is how people looked. I don't know. But they immediately grab 3 kids and say, come on, kids, let's go. Remember that little boy who got eaten a few weeks ago? He was on a raft just like this. So one of you kids, get on this raft so you can be a decoy and you can go over there. Little Timmy, go, whichever one they like the least. Go over there. We're going to swim over here. I mean, you'd think maybe there would be a few guidelines. Okay, if you're going to come swimming, please, whatever you do, don't bring a raft, don't go past your waist, and try not to do excessive splashing. But it seems like there's no rules at all, and it's just go in the water and go this way very fast. If a shark gets in your way, turn. Like, they just try not to get eaten. Please, that's all we can ask of you. Try not to get eaten. So they go in the water, and the lemmings come out of the woodwork. It's like the floodgates open, and they're like, oh, we can go in the water? Oh, okay, we're probably faster than those old people. Let's go. And it goes from nobody swimming to, I think, 500,000 people swimming right away. I love the shot of the helicopter going by. You see just how packed this beach is, which you realize how many extras they actually needed in these movies. And it's, it's easy. You're in Martha's Vineyard in the summer, even though I know some of this isn't shot in the summer, but this looks like it's pretty much shot in the summer here. I could be wrong. But they're like, we need people on the beach. Well, that's going to be easy to do. But I remember as a kid, you'd see planes go by and helicopters go by, a lot of times pulling advertisements. But this is just a helicopter out there to make sure that, nobody gets swallowed up whole. Not on their watch. So after the helicopter goes by, we see on the crowded beach a bunch of boys, probably like 13 years old or so, bringing a sailboat right through the beach to bring into the ocean. I never saw anything like this. I always thought you had to go someplace special to drop a boat off. So I've never seen anything as far as kids bringing boats onto a beach ever. I have seen rafts, but never an actual boat. Now, one of the kids in the front of the boat is, of course, Michael Brody, and Martin, Chief Brody, sees Michael, pulls him aside, and asks him to not do the boat here if he can put the boat over in the pond, because he's a little nervous. He thinks it's safer for Michael to be in the pond. But, Michael, not really excited about that. And here's the fun thing. This is not the voice of the actor you're hearing when Michael's talking. Now, earlier you hear him say, I got bit by a vampire. Or, come on, Dad, just a few more minutes. You can hear that accent coming through. I'm pretty sure that's all him. But right here, when you hear the voiceover, probably just because the audio didn't sound all that great, they didn't bring in the actor. At this point, maybe his voice had changed when they were doing it. But they brought in legendary voiceover artist, cartoon artist, animated voice artist, June Foray, who is probably best known as Rocky in Bullwinkle, the squirrel, Rocky J. Squirrel, I think is that his name or something like that. But here, first, let's listen to June Foray as Rocky the squirrel.
Bullwinkle, you can't do that!
I'm supposed to help ladies in distress.
But Chapter 3 says you never throw a game!
And now let's listen to Michael Brody in this scene.
Listen, Mike, do me a favor, will you?
What?
You and the other guys take the boat and put it in the pond instead.
Pond's for old ladies.
I know it's for the old ladies, but just do it for the old man, huh? Please?
All right.
Thanks.
To me, once you hear it, you can't unhear it. It's, she's not doing the loud voice that she does for the cartoon, but it's the same voice. It's basically the same. It's just her voice, a different, inflection of it. But you can definitely hear that it's June Foray once you realize that she provided some ADR, additional dialogue recording for JAWS. So Michael listens to the old man and takes the boat with his buddies to the pond. Some great parenting there, Chief. You thought at the time, speaking of great parenting, the next thing we see is Ellen. She's over by a food stand that serves ice cold Coca-Cola. I wish I had that little cooler that you see behind her. Someone bought something for 55 cents. I don't know if it was a Coke or what, but she gives a big smile and wave to the Chief, and he waves back, and then she mouths, "I've got Sean." And he's like, "Great, wonderful." The very next shot you see is little Sean, what is he, 3 years old, just running after Michael. No Ellen around, no parent, running after Michael. He's like, "Michael, wait, Michael." At first I thought he said, "I don't want you in the water," but I think he says, "I don't like you anymore," because Michael's not hanging out with him. And, Michael's much older than Sean to the point where they're not going to hang out. But Sean is at the age where he looks up to his little brother so much, and he loves that he sounds just like so many of his favorite cartoon characters sometimes. But honestly, he's just angry that he's not involved. That's really what it comes down to. So we jump back to the ocean, and no commotion on the ocean just yet, but we do see people smiling and laughing. We see the Tafts. Everyone's happy. Here's the thing. It seems like in Amity, everyone goes swimming and everyone loves the water, and it's very calm water. In fact, the only thing that's kind of making the water choppy is all the people in it splashing and making a commotion. Did I just say commotion in the ocean? Either way, people are swimming, and we see the very scary visual of below people's legs. So your first thought is, are we seeing their legs, or is something else under there seeing the legs? But you're not hearing the Jaws theme, so you figure no Jaws theme, no shark. You got Hendrix on a boat. He's calling, saying he doesn't see anything yet. But at one point, you see Chief looking at his walkie-talkie, and then it cuts back to Hendrix. And in the distance, you see this black dot going by. Now, my assumption is, I think I saw someone say, did they all miss the shark? There's no way. Well, they did miss whatever this is. You definitely see something floating by. What we can assume is that it's there to scare people watching the movie, and what it is the, well, it's going to come up tomorrow what it actually is. But it's the result of, we all know what it is. It's the pranksters. So that's what I assume we're seeing when you're kind of, your eyes are drawn to Hendrix, but it's really in the distance, right by his hat. If you look right above his hat, you see this little black thing going across. And I think it's too small to be our shark. I don't think it's a dorsal fin of a shark, but it might be the head of one of the kids who is about to pull this prank off. Because we see all these people splashing. Here's the thing. You see the water again. People are in very, very deep water. Is this how people swam in the ocean before Jaws? Was this Did Jaws change the world so much that people don't swim in the ocean like this? Or did they never swim like this? Is this just for this movie? I just don't know. Or am I just crazy that my experience is not seeing people swim like this? I see people stand in the water, float maybe in 4 or 5 feet of water, ride the waves. And I remember my mother's Uncle John, he taught me how to float. You just kind of lie back and float. I remember doing that, but I've never been so far out that you're kicking to the point where you're over your head and you can go down. I might have come close, but I don't think so. I don't think I could do it. I think I would be way too freaked out. In fact, thinking about it right now is kind of giving me the heebie-jeebies. But all these Amity folks, hey, once they see that old guy and his wife and the grandkids go in, they're like, let's go. I mean, might as well, put a little salt and pepper on before they head in just to make themselves even more delectable. So it's at this point we cut over to see Mayor Larry Vaughn give a classic speech to the television camera. Like, he wants to make sure that everybody watching will come down and spend more money. There are a bunch of kids in the background. That looks like maybe one mom, a bunch of kids all waving. They're just telling them, act like you want to be on camera. There's Meadows. It seems like Meadows is trying to, I just noticed this. I don't think I ever noticed this before. Carl Gottlieb is trying to keep these kids back from the mayor, keep them, from acting up. He looks like he's trying to keep order, but these kids are just having fun. There's one chick in a bikini in the background. It looks like she's just posing, just trying to look nice. And you got Mayor Vaughn giving an incredible speech. I played it at the beginning of the episode, but what he says is, I'm pleased and happy to report the news that we have, in fact, caught and killed a large predator that supposedly injured some bathers. Think about that. But as you see, it's a beautiful day. The beaches are open and people are having a wonderful time. Amity, as you know, means friendship. That speech tells you everything you want that you get from Larry. The beaches are open. Please come. It's a beautiful day. And he downplays the fact that a large predator, doesn't say shark, supposedly injured some bathers, killed 3 people. Okay? Whether he directly killed Ben Gardner or not, there's 3 people dead because of the shark. And he doesn't care because the beaches are full, the beaches are open, and that means everyone's pockets are filled with blood money. Not maybe 3 or 4 seconds after he says that, we have about a minute left in this clip where all hell breaks loose. So it shows again people, swimming in the distance. We are we're inside a boat, but we're not focused on the boat. We're focused on the people on shore, and you can't help but see while they're on shore this fin going by in the water. I don't remember seeing this as a kid. I don't remember seeing this for the first time. I know this is the scene where it's the 2 kids pulling the prank, but I can only imagine again in the theater, and you're sitting along, you hear that goddamn mayor say those terrible things, and then off in the distance you see this fin. I can only imagine in the theater people are freaking out and screaming and people gasping, oh no, oh no. Then we see the fin just go right by these 2 girls who at the time you might think are the luckiest girls ever. This fin goes right by them. Then you see this woman looking right in the camera. She freaks out. You see her kind of peel off. So here's a little bit of an issue. She turns, and as she turns, there's the older couple, the selectman, the guy who was letting his suntan lotion absorb. He's with his kids, and they're all having fun. She turns, and then we see another guy looking in the camera directly. He's freaking out. And in the background, we see the same guy, the same family, the same raft, the same thing. You'd think maybe you'd see another angle. I almost feel like it's a mistake that they're in the background. It's the same people. I guess it's supposed to be this just a slightly different angle and that's where the fin is coming from. But he turns and he just knocks everyone on his, like the girl at least tries to go around. He turns, he's like, screw this, knocks everyone on their ass. And then you realize the spotters on the boat see what's going on.
Jesus Christ, Sven, Shark 350.
Imagine if they just started shooting. Oh wait, didn't that happen in that part? Oh wait, I'm not going to mention the sequels.
No whistles, no whistles.
A little too late for no whistles, Martin. So Brody just looks out at the water, and we see a bunch of boats pulling up the rope. They put out a rope saying you can't go further than this, which you'd see in a pool or in some lakes. I've never seen it in the ocean before. At least I've never seen it in my experience, except here in Jaws. I think, didn't they do something like that in Australia too to keep sharks away? But the boats are lifting up this rope to get, I guess, closer to see what's going on. People are all swimming to shore. I think one kid looks like he has a big smile on his face. There's anarchy. You see people getting pushed off rafts, and that's where this 4-minute segment ends. Just as the mayor says everything's going well, we think, uh-oh, things are about to go terribly, terribly wrong. And they are, except not for these people. But that is for another day, because we are done with JAWGUST 15th. We are done with today's segment. I hope that you loved my moment at the beach. I'm sure it was exciting and insightful, and maybe there was a fin or something, but I'm not even going to try to pretend that I am not recording this hours and hours later. As I was starting to record today's episode at 7 in the morning, about 8 or so, I stopped. I don't know if my voice, if you hear a difference in my morning voice, it was maybe a little deeper, but everything up to June Foray doing the voiceover for Michael was this morning, and everything since then was in the afternoon. And yes, I didn't end up going to the beach, but we did see some water by a lake, which, or a river actually, the Merrimack River in Massachusetts. No sharks, though I did canoe in that lake once. River. And I remember falling out of the canoe and kind of being freaked out, not for sharks, but for like snapping turtles. I just remember not wanting to be in the water. I don't like the idea of being in dark, dark water. That being said, years ago, we went on a cruise where my wife and I took out jet skis on the clearest water in Mexico, and or was it Jamaica? Maybe it was Jamaica, wherever it was. I just remember thinking about a certain shark movie that took place in clear water, and I thought, the only thing worse than not seeing what's beneath you is driving along and seeing what's beneath you. And speaking of seeing what's beneath, I can't wait to talk about tomorrow's segment. And if all things go right, I will not be talking about it alone. That's all I'm going to say as I leave you today, this wonderful Friday in JAWGUST. We are now just about halfway through the whole project, the whole month of JAWGUST. So the way math works is 15 and a half episodes. So in the halfway point of tomorrow's episode, that's when we have reached the mountaintop, and it's all downhill from there. That sounds bad. That sounds like the next half of this month isn't going to be as good. But I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say it's going to be even better. In fact, this was the shitty half. Oh my God. Looking back now, I can't believe I did this. Wait till you see what happens tomorrow and the rest of this month. I'm looking forward to, talking more Jaws alone and with some of my friends. I have some cool ideas, or at least I have some ideas that I think are cool. We'll see. We shall see. But we're done for today. So I want to thank you guys for listening, for sticking with the show, and for, sending in your comments. Mike, by the way, Chris instead of commenting, Chris texted me directly to tell me, I totally disagree with Mike about the $10,000. It didn't matter that Brody killed him. What if Hooper killed him underwater? It all fell under Quint's hiring. Quint would have been telling Brody to stop shooting at him, which is silly as long as his charter kills the shark. Oh yeah, Quint would have been telling Brody to stop shooting at him. Oh, I see what he means. He's saying if it mattered who actually killed the shark, then Quint would have been saying stop it. But obviously that makes all the sense in the world, that it's still Quint's charter. Well, I guess it's Brody's charter, but it's Quint's vessel. He's the captain. And it's Quint's contract. So the money should go to Quint. The $10,000 should go to Quint, plus the $3,000 from Mrs. Kintner. So $13,000. But then I'm guessing, because that's private, that's separate. $13,000 should be going to. I feel like I've changed my mind 1,000 times on this, and I have another half of this whole month to change it even more. And I hope you come along with me on this voyage. I didn't have a song there. I just started singing, and it didn't work. But I'm not going to edit it out. I will be back tomorrow. In the meantime, you can follow me on all the socials at Geek Mentality, except TikTok, which is Geek Mentality Mike, where I put up little videos of me singing these silly songs, and they don't get tagged. They don't get tagged for copyright like friggin' YouTube has been doing, which is annoying. So follow me on TikTok at Geek Mentality Mike, and everywhere else at Geek Mentality. The place I'm probably the most prominent now is Blue Sky. And we have a Facebook page. It's Fans Not Experts. We have a YouTube channel. It's Fans Not Experts. Fans Not Experts. That's because the website where every podcast we do can be found at fansnotexperts.com. That is it. I am done. I will talk to you tomorrow, my friends. But until then, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. And here is my theme song.
This is my podcast. I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe, 'cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time, and I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode. Fans Not Experts.